Does this sound familiar? Your home looks perfectly clean, yet there's still a smell you can't quite put your finger on. Maybe it's the carpet, maybe it's the sofa, maybe it's just time. I remember one afternoon when a friend came over. I had dusted, vacuumed, even lit a candle. But the moment she stepped in, I caught a faint musty scent, old paper from my shelves, and a little dampness from the rug. It wasn't dirt, it was history, clinging quietly to the air. And here's the twist. Clean doesn't always mean fresh. You can polish every surface, yet hidden smells live in the things we use every day, in fabrics, in corners we forget. They build up slowly until one day we notice. Or worse, someone else does. Many of us over 60 quietly carry a fear we rarely name, not just of clutter, but of the smell of old age filling our homes. We worry our children, or even our neighbors, might step in and feel distance instead of comfort. I've been there too, that quiet worry that maybe my home no longer reflects who I am today, but a scent of years gone by. But here's the good news. You don't need hours of scrubbing or expensive products to change that. In this video, I'll share with you 7 simple cleaning tricks that take just 15 minutes. They're not harsh, they're not overwhelming, they're small, freeing steps you can do right now. By the end, you'll know the one trick I call the evening reset, the gem of the video that doesn't just clear smells but restores peace to your nights. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching from and how has your relationship with your home's freshness been lately? We read every single comment, and your story might be just what someone else needs today. So, let's begin with the very first trick, one that starts not with a spray or a scrub, but with something you probably already have in your kitchen. Trick 1, the lemon bowl freshener. Let me ask you something simple. Have you ever walked into your living room knowing it was clean, but still felt a faint, stale smell lingering in the air? It's frustrating, isn't it? That's where one of my favorite 15-minute tricks comes in, the lemon bowl freshener. Here's how it works. You don't need fancy sprays or chemical plug-ins. Just take a fresh lemon, slice it into quarters, and place the pieces in a small bowl of warm water. Set it on your kitchen counter or coffee table for the evening. As the lemon sits, it naturally releases oils into the air, bright, clean, and fresh. No scrubbing, no bending, no chasing after smells. Just letting nature do the work. I remember visiting Mrs. Harris, a sweet neighbor in her 70s. She told me her biggest worry wasn't dust or clutter. It was that her grandchildren might think, "Grandma's house smells old." She tried candles, sprays, even those plug-in machines, but they gave her headaches. When I showed her the lemon bowl trick, she laughed because it was so simple she thought it couldn't possibly work. But the next morning she said, "For the first time in years, my home smelled like sunshine." The truth is, many of us fear that our homes might carry what some people call the scent of age. It's not something we talk about at family dinners, but deep down, we worry it pushes others away. I've felt that too, and that's why I lean on these small, natural habits. They don't erase our years. They remind us we're still creating new, fresh moments every day. As one woman in her 60s once told me, "Freshness feels like dignity." That stayed with me, because it's not about covering up with strong perfumes. It's about creating air that feels alive, just like we still are. So maybe tonight, try placing a lemon bowl in your favorite room. See how it changes not just the smell, but the feeling of the space. And if you do, I'd love to hear if it worked for you. You're not behind, you're simply ready. And you can do this too. Now, while the lemon bowl is wonderful for the living areas, there's another trick that tackles one of the biggest smell trappers in our homes, the carpets. And the best part? It takes less than 5 minutes to set up. Let's move on to that one next. Trick 2, the baking soda carpet shake. Let me ask you, when was the last time you knelt down close to your carpet and realized it didn't smell as fresh as you thought? Maybe it's not visible dirt. It's that quiet mustiness that builds up year after year. And here's the truth. No amount of vacuuming alone will take that smell away. But there's a simple trick you can do in under 15 minutes. The baking soda carpet shake. Here's how. Take a box of plain baking soda, the same kind you keep in your fridge, and sprinkle a light layer evenly over your carpet or rug. Leave it there for about 10 to 15 minutes while you make yourself a cup of tea, and then vacuum it up. What happens is simple science. Baking soda absorbs odors at the source instead of just covering them. Your carpet won't just look clean, it will actually smell clean. I think about my friend Elaine, a gentlewoman in her late 60s. She told me, "I worry my home smells tired, even if no one says it out loud." Her fear wasn't about guests judging her. It was about her grandchildren hesitating to sit on the floor, or her family not feeling comfortable staying too long. When she tried this baking soda trick, she said, "It's like I lifted a weight I didn't know I was carrying." That's the hidden part of this. Sometimes we connect the way our home smells with our own worth. And if we're honest, many of us fear that one day people might think, "Oh, that's just the smell of old age." But it's not age. It's dust, fabric, and time. And you don't have to accept it. You can refresh it. You can change it today. Personally, I've come to see this little ritual as a way of reclaiming peace in my space. It's quiet. It doesn't demand energy, and yet the impact is huge. As one senior once told me, "The air feels lighter, and so do I." And I think that's the real gift. Not just a fresher carpet, but a lighter heart. So maybe give it a try this week. Sprinkle, sip your tea, and vacuum. That's all it takes. You're not behind. You're simply ready. And you can do this too. Now, while carpets hold on to smells, there's another surprising source that catches many of us off guard: our kitchens. The place we cook, laugh, and gather often carries odors that linger long after the meal. And the next trick turns that problem into something soothing and even joyful. Let's talk about that. Trick 3. The stove simmer secret. Have you ever walked into your kitchen the morning after cooking, only to be greeted by the stubborn smell of last night's dinner? It's not dangerous, but it lingers, like a shadow that overstays its welcome. The truth is, even the cleanest kitchen can carry yesterday's scent. But here's the secret. You don't need fancy sprays. You just need a pot of water and what you already have in your pantry. Here's how to do it. Fill a small pot with water. Add slices of lemon, maybe a stick of cinnamon, or even a sprig of rosemary if you have it. Turn on the stove and let it simmer gently. Within minutes, the steam carries the natural fragrance through your kitchen, wrapping the air in warmth and freshness. It doesn't mask odors. It replaces them, slowly and tenderly. I remember visiting Mrs. Parker, a widow in her 70s who loved hosting her bridge group. She once told me, "I get embarrassed because my kitchen still smells of fish even after I've scrubbed everything." It wasn't about the fish. It was about her fear that her friends might think her home was unclean, or worse, that she had lost her touch. When she discovered the simmer trick, she laughed and said, "It feels like I've brought the garden into my house." That tiny shift gave her confidence back. And maybe that's the hidden worry many of us carry. We don't just want a house that's clean. We want one that feels welcoming, alive, and proud to share. There's an unspoken fear that our spaces might smell old or stale, and that people, especially our children and grandchildren, will quietly notice. But the stove simmer is proof that freshness can be created with grace, not struggle. For me, this ritual is like a pause in the day. Watching the steam rise feels meditative, like the house itself is breathing. As one senior told me once, it's not just the smell that changes, my mood softens too. That's the kind of cleaning we need more of, the kind that heals both the home and the heart. So next time you're tidying your kitchen, try the stove simmer. Put on your pot, let it bubble gently, and enjoy the comfort it creates. You're not behind, you're simply ready, and you can do this too. Now, while the kitchen can be refreshed with steam, there's another trick that works silently, almost invisibly, through your windows. Let's move there next. Trick 4. The window breath. Do you ever notice how the air in your home can feel heavy, even when everything looks tidy? Sometimes it's not the dust we see, but the air we don't refresh that makes a room feel stale. The simplest cure? Opening a window, just for 10 minutes. Here's how it works. Choose one window on each end of your home if possible. Open them both, just a little, to create a gentle cross breeze. Even in winter, 5 to 10 minutes is enough to let the stale air escape and welcome fresh oxygen in. If you can, add a quiet ceiling or table fan to help the flow. It's free, it's easy, and it can change the way your entire house feels in minutes. I remember visiting Evelyn, a grandmother in her late 60s. She told me, "I used to light candles all day to hide the smell of old air. But the moment my daughter showed me the window trick, I realized I didn't need to cover anything. I just needed to let my home breathe." That shift gave her not just fresher air, but also a renewed sense of control over her space. And here's the truth many of us rarely admit. The fear isn't just about stale air. It's about what it represents. For some seniors, there's a quiet worry. If my house smells closed in, will my children think I can't keep up anymore? Will they see me as frail or slipping? That unspoken fear can weigh heavier than dust. But opening a window is like saying, "I'm still here. I still choose how my home feels." For me, this ritual has always felt symbolic. When I open the window in the morning, it's not just fresh air I'm letting in, it's possibility. It's a way of telling myself that each day deserves a breath of something new. As Evelyn once put it beautifully, the house sighs with relief when I crack the window. I think we sigh with it too. And you can do this too. So tomorrow, before you light a candle or reach for a spray, try the window breath. 10 minutes is all it takes. Your space deserves that. Now, fresh air clears away what lingers, but what if your fabrics are quietly holding on to smells you can't see? That's where our next trick comes in. Trick 5, the pillowcase refresh. Have you ever laid your head down at night only to notice your pillow doesn't smell as fresh as it should? It's not always dirt. It's time. Fabrics, especially pillowcases, quietly trap skin oils, hair, and even the scents of yesterday's meals. Here's the simple fix. Keep 2 or 3 extra sets of pillowcases in rotation. Instead of waiting for laundry day, slip on a fresh pillowcase every few nights. It takes less than a minute, yet it resets your whole sleeping space. If you'd like, you can even tuck a drop of lavender or eucalyptus oil on the inside seam for a soothing scent that lasts until morning. I'll never forget Margaret, a 72-year-old who told me, "I thought my whole bedroom needed an overhaul. Then my granddaughter said, 'Grandma, just change your pillowcase more often.'" I laughed, but she was right. Suddenly my room smelled fresher, and I slept better. That tiny shift lifted a weight she didn't realize she was carrying. And here's the hidden fear we rarely name. Many older women worry their bedrooms might smell old or uninviting, especially if family or grandchildren come to visit. It's not really about the pillow. It's about dignity, about still feeling in control of your own environment. A clean pillowcase isn't just fabric. It's a quiet reassurance. I care for myself. I welcome you here. For me, this practice feels almost like a love note to my future self. Every time I slip on a new case, I'm saying, "Tomorrow night, you'll rest in freshness." It's such a small act, but it speaks volumes. Or as one senior once told me with a smile, "A fresh pillowcase feels like forgiveness at the end of the day." And you can do this too. So tonight, don't wait for the weekend laundry. Change just the pillowcase. See how it changes not only the smell of your room, but the way you feel as you drift off to sleep. Now, your pillow might be refreshed, but what about the fabrics around the rest of your living space? Let's move to a trick that spreads freshness beyond the bed. Trick 6, the daily bin reset. Do you ever notice that no matter how clean your home looks, there's still a lingering smell you can't quite place, and then you realize it's coming from the trash bin? The truth is, bins collect more than just garbage. They hold onto odors that sneak back into the room even after you've taken the trash out. Here's a gentle trick that takes less than 2 minutes. Once a day, especially in the evening, give your bin a reset. That could mean wiping the inside with a damp cloth, sprinkling a little baking soda at the bottom, or slipping in a sheet of newspaper with a drop of lemon juice or vinegar. These tiny steps neutralize odors before they spread, and if lifting feels heavy, keep smaller bins in different rooms. Emptying one lightweight bag a day is easier than dragging a big, smelly bin once a week. I think of Eleanor, 74, who told me she used to dread her kitchen every morning. No matter how much I cleaned, it always smelled stale, she said. Then she tried this simple bin reset. Instead of waiting for garbage day, she made it part of her evening routine, like brushing her teeth. Within a week, her kitchen smelled lighter, and she found herself smiling when she made coffee. The quiet fear beneath this is one many won't admit out loud, the worry that visitors or even family will think, "This house smells old." But it's not about age. It's about little habits that stop smells before they start. A clean bin tells your home story in a way words can't. For me, the daily bin reset is a peace habit. It's not just about freshness, it's about closing the day on a clean note. There's something grounding about knowing the one spot most likely to carry bad smells has been taken care of. One senior I spoke with summed it up beautifully. Taking out a little trash each night takes a lot of weight off my shoulders. And you can do this too. So tonight, before you turn out the lights, try a quick bin reset. Notice how it changes the air you breathe when you wake up tomorrow. Now, we've freshened the hidden corners like the bin, but what about opening your entire home to a new kind of freshness? Let's move to the next trick, one that feels like giving your house a breath of life. Trick 7, the evening air ritual. Have you noticed how the air in your home feels different at night, sometimes heavier, almost tired, like it's been holding on to the whole day with you? This is where the evening air ritual comes in. Just before bed, take a few minutes to open 1 or 2 windows, even if it's just a crack. Let the old, stale air drift out and invite in the cooler night air. If the weather isn't kind, even switching on a fan near a window or doorway for 5 minutes can refresh the air inside. The goal isn't to make your house cold, it's to give your home a moment to breathe. I remember Mrs. Janet, 71, who told me she struggled with restless sleep. She tried all the teas and pillows, but it wasn't until she began this little ritual, airing out her bedroom for 5 minutes, that she noticed a change. "The air just feels softer," she said, "and I wake up not only rested, but lighter in my spirit." The unspoken fear here is real. Many worry that their homes will develop what some call a shut-in smell, the kind that hints at being forgotten. But by resetting your air each evening, you're not just freshening a room, you're keeping your space alive, welcoming, and warm for yourself and anyone who visits. For me, this ritual feels symbolic. It's like saying goodbye to the day's worries and preparing for a new beginning tomorrow. The act is small, but the impact on sleep, on mood, on peace of mind, feels so much bigger. As one senior told me with a smile, "I don't feel old when my home smells fresh. I feel ready for tomorrow." And you can do this too. So tonight, as you wind down, try opening your space to a quiet breath of fresh air. Notice how different it feels when you slip under the covers. And now that we've walked through these simple yet powerful tricks, let's gently close with a few final thoughts to remind you, you don't need more effort, just kinder habits. Let me ask you, when was the last time you paused, took a deep breath and thought, "Yes, my home feels truly fresh tonight"? It's such a small feeling, but it carries such big peace. The truth is, you don't need a complicated routine. You don't need to spend hours scrubbing. These little rituals, like a lemon bowl, a quick shake of baking soda, or even opening your window for just a few minutes, are gentle choices that add up. They're small enough to do tonight, yet powerful enough to change the way your home welcomes you every day. I think of Mrs. Helen, 68, who once told me she felt embarrassed to have her grandchildren over because she worried her house carried a stale smell. She whispered, "I don't want them to remember me this way." After she tried just one of these tricks, refreshing her pillows weekly, her voice carried a new joy. "Now when they run in and hug me, I don't worry about the house. I just enjoy them." That's the quiet fear many carry, the worry that their home will betray them, that it might whisper, "You're being forgotten." But it doesn't have to be that way. With these simple, kind habits, your space can always reflect the warmth and life you carry inside. For me, each fresh breath in my home feels like a reminder. I'm still here, still living, still creating new moments. And you can do this too. As one senior beautifully said, "Fresh air makes me feel like tomorrow is possible." So let me ask, Which of these gentle tricks will you try first? Share it in the comments. Your story might be the very spark someone else needs today. And remember, you're not behind. You're simply ready, and you can do this too. Until next time, be kind to your space and even kinder to yourself.